are one or two things most relevant from your past that have led you to run for a spot as school board trustee?
Yeah, absolutely. So my work background is very diverse, and I come from a line of educators. I have family that were educators as teachers. I have a niece and nephew that are currently in the Grand Prairie Public School Board system. I've done a lot of community contribution through my current role. I work with an organization called Careers Next Generation, so connecting high school kids into paid internships. I've also done a lot of youth leadership work with my former role in the city of Grand Prairie. So I'm really committed to supporting public education and to supporting young people in whatever their future endeavors entail.
The two things are my roles as a parent and as a former teacher. And they blend together in this role because I have found walls that I didn't expect when I went into the profession or as I brought my kids into the system. And I have tried to figure out how we got here in so many different spaces, and most of them gave me the advice that I should just run for trustee if I actually want to figure it out. So here I am.
And do you have an example of one of the walls?
Accessing supports and services for kids with extra needs. That has been a really stressful experience as a parent.
Oh yeah.
And I was one of those people who spent 12 years trying to get a permanent contract, successful probationary contract after successful probationary contract, and government grants get cut. So that goes poof. And it's not personal, but eventually it gets to the point where you can't keep getting your heart broken every single spring. So I moved into the private sector, which is remarkably easy with teacher skills. And that was really successful. So that gave me the space to be able to be more flexible for my kids. Yeah. It gave me permission to sub as a choice, which was lovely, but that opened up a whole other can of, this could be better. So with all those different hats, I feel like being able to be in the room at the table means that kind of representation will be genuine.
Right.
Okay, good question. I am a clinical social worker, and so for many years, 20 plus years, I worked for Alberta Health Services. So advocacy is a huge piece of my background. And with the current state of things now, I feel like advocacy is going to be something that is going to be needed, indefinitely, truthfully. And I think that's one of my skill sets is not being afraid to ask hard questions, not being afraid to be a voice, and not taking no for an answer, if that makes sense, right? I think there's always room for pushing,
right.
And I'm pretty good at pushing.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So I've been a teacher since 1992, so education is my passion. And when I decided to retire, I knew I wasn't finished yet working at some component of education.
Right.
But when the trustee came up, we were teaching democracy in social, and one of the kids said, "Would you run for trustee?"
Right.
And I said, I might. And then I decided to put my name forward, and here I am. So for me, it's about the kids. Kids first is my thing, and it's tattooed on my wrist, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help kids.
Thank you.
One or two things. Teaching experience, over 42 years in the Grand Prairie public system. I have children go through the system. I have a granddaughter in the system, and I've been watching. I was also an ATA, a local leader, and I can see the decisions government makes and the effect they have on the classroom. And I guess, to be honest, I'm a bit concerned with some of the direction government's going in. And rather than sit in the sidelines and complain and moan about it, I thought I'd get in and try to help. There might be situations I could offer some insights to that would help people make a more informed decision, and a decision that has a better effect on public education. Thank you.
Well, that is one of the most common questions, I guess. And I think first and foremost being a parent, because that's where school boards originated, as parents, mostly mothers, who would sit on school boards and make decisions for what was best for the school. So being a mother. I'm also a grandmother now, so I do still have some children in the district, and that's probably the biggest one. I mean, I've done property management for about 20 years,
Okay.
and so that has given me an insight into a lot of different family dynamics, I guess you could say.
Sure. Well, thank you.
Oh, that's really interesting. My name is Chris Johnston. My background is in engineering, so it's in research and product development in particular. I moved up to Grande Prairie in 2016, so I'm a relative newcomer to the city. And I've always been, I guess I would say, passionate about public education. I think it's one of the most important institutions in our society. My brother is a teacher with Edmonton Public, so I got to see kind of his perspective, especially as he was navigating even the last teachers' strike when he was just getting started. Was interesting for that perspective. But I've always been so impressed with the dedication and commitment and work that teachers put in every day. And I guess when I started thinking about running in 2021 at this point, I was seeing a lot of stuff online that I didn't really like, a lot of rhetoric against teachers, a lot of, I mean, that was when you had like the arguments about vaccines and masking, and you had the new curriculum that was coming in, and just, I guess I just wanted to try to be a voice of reason. I've served in different kinds of advisory roles in the past, and I've always kind of followed the data, followed the numbers. I definitely believe in data-based, evidence-based decision making, and that's what I apply in my day job as well in engineering. I believe in quick iteration and trying things out and seeing what works, collecting data on it and trying to improve on that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was expecting the division to be much worse at that than it actually was.
Okay.
And there's still things I think that we can improve on with things that we report.
Like being
But
responsive to
yeah,
data,
responsive
is
to new data and collecting evidence and going out and looking for answers to those questions and not just kind of making best guesses. And I think maybe it was more like that in the past, but we've really got such a strong administration team, and something that I've really appreciated about them over the last 4 years is their commitment to evidence-based decision making. And I'm happy to have been a part of hopefully helping to strengthen that mentality. And yeah, this year I wasn't sure if I was going to run. There's just so much going on in education right now, and personally for me it's really interesting because my son, this is his first year in school, so he's starting kindergarten this year, and next year I've got a daughter who's going to be joining as well, so going into kindergarten, and I just still want to continue to do whatever I can to try to help strengthen the system and try to make it the best that it can possibly be to help support our teachers.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I am a product of public education myself, as are our children and many family members. So I feel very compelled to want to give back to the community. We enjoyed a quality education, and if I can contribute any way to that, I want to.
One thing about being an Australian citizen, it is both your right and responsibility to vote. So if you go somewhere and people are talking about their elected officials, they showed up to vote and they used their voice where it meant the most. One thing about municipal elections is they're really not well attended. The voting public, I think, don't understand the roles and the responsibilities that these publicly elected positions actually carry.
Yeah.
I'm a parent, I'm an immigrant, I put both my children through French immersion schooling, even though that is not a language I speak incredibly well. I believe in education, I believe in voting, I believe in taking responsibility for your actions and volunteering. That's a little wrap up of why I think it's important.
Well, I suppose I will leave out the fact that I've been doing it for 8 years. I think relevant for my past, I have a child who just went through the public system, and I was really involved in it at the school council level, and then I got more involved at the district level. And I think my other relevance would be my business and community engagement. I own I'm a partner in a business,
Yeah.
and I also am a pretty avid volunteer and community member. Relevant from my past. I guess honestly, I struggled myself as a kid. I struggled in school. I struggled just kind of finding who I was in life, and I would, think that I could be a help and maybe a voice for those who are going through the same thing that I experienced. I guess too, kind of my mom, I guess, just because she has shown me to how to be strong and resilient and stand up for what I believe in. And I believe that she would be proud of me for doing this right now. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness, relevant to my past. I would say I've been on other boards, very active in my children's life as growing up. And to me, it's important to still advocate and be in there. I have grandchildren now who I care deeply for. I'm passionate about what goes on within their lives. So that was one of the things. And I felt like there's things that I've seen a direction that I wasn't completely happy with. And so I wanted to jump in and sort of give my input.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.